In tutorial 1 for Python, we're going to look at printing and getting input to the shell. So the output will all come to the shell and the input will be taken from the shell, and the shell is this section down here. I think with Thonny you can drag it around, but I'm not quite sure, or resize it. So I've resized it so it's about this much, which means I can see a little bit. You might find that you might have to maximize this video in order to see some of the output from the shell. It's just a bit unfortunate with the way that this particular recording program works. So the first section we're going to look at is a plain printer shell, and you can see that I'm using comments with the hash symbol. So the hash symbol will basically give you a comment, and to do this we simply need to go print and open a bracket, use a string, so using quotes to create a string, and we can say hello world, and there we go. Now you should be able to save it. You need to save it somewhere. I'm saving mine in a folder called Python, and mine's called Tute01. You might want to call yours the same, and hit save. Just being careful when you're naming these that you don't give them the same name as any of the commands that you're using or any of the libraries you might import, because that can just not make it work properly. Once I've saved it, I can now press run, and you can see down all the way down the bottom here, it's printed out hello world. So what happens if you want to use quotes? So I can say print, for example, hello, and I wanted to use like scare quotes world. I can use single quotes like so, and that should work. So run that. You can see that it's put that like that, or I can actually put the string, I believe, into single quotes so that I can then use double quotes inside my string. Bit of a quirk, but just in case you do want to do that, save and run, and you can see there that I've got the quotes in there like that. If I print hello and print world on the next line, so it does what you'd expect it to do. It puts them on new lines, and I didn't use capitals there. Probably should do that. Hello and world. Now you can create variables. Creating variables is fairly simple in Python. We'll go into that in more detail in later tutorials, but let's just start with a name, and the name is going to be Sally, and we're going to have a number, and the number is just going to be equal to 10. So we've got these numbers and names here. How do I print them? Well, I can print them simply like this. I can print number as well. And that's useful often to know what the variable value is at a certain point in the code. If you just print it out, you'll see it in your statement here, and it's just going to come straight out. We can also do something called concatenation, and I can add two strings together. And I add two strings together just using the plus symbol. So name plus name. And if I run that, see my printout is getting longer. It's Sally, Sally, and there's no space in between them. I can also do a comma, and this is often useful when you're looking at or wanting to figure out what a couple of variables are. So I run that, and you can see I get the space in between them. This is called concatenation. We can also use this to do something like this. Hello, my name is, what their pilot is plus name, like so. If I run that, save it, always good to save it. Hello, my name is Sally. But if I do this, and I am plus number plus space years old. If I run this, save it first and run it, I get an error and it says can only concatenate str, not int. Str is short for string and int is short for integer. What it's basically saying is that this variable here, the data type, is an integer. It also tells you this over here. If you go over here and it tells you this, you can click on it and it will highlight that line for you. Okay, so basically what I can now do is fix this by actually saying that this integer is a string by putting an str and putting the number, the integer variable, in brackets. So now if I run it, you see it works fine. Hello, my name is Sally and I am 10 years old. Probably should have a full stop there. And that comment probably should just go here. What about getting user input? I'm glad you asked. So if I want to say input, what is your name? Question mark, space, and then close that off and run it. It'll ask me what is my name and tap it in, but it doesn't go anywhere. So what I need to do is create another variable straight here, straight now, and I'm going to put in your name. Notice I use a form of writing called camel type, where there's no spaces between the names, but every new word is capitalized. So you can't have spaces in variable names. But if I type in that, I can then say print hello space plus your name. And that should run this. What is your name? Scott. It's not really my name, but that's what I typed in. So it says hello Scott at the end there. I can also try this. Your age, and I can go input plus what is your age? Question mark. I should put a space there. So now we're going to take an input of the age into your age and hit run. And what is your name? Scott. Hello Scott, what is your age? 23. Okay, now it goes to nowhere. What can we do with this age? Well, we can figure out what the age difference is between Sally and whoever you are. So age diff, and it's going to be a negative number sometimes, should be equal to number minus your age. Now if I run this, I know I'm going to get an error. So it goes through, what is your name? Scott. What is your age? 23. And it's going to be giving me an error because it's thinking that this should be an integer, but the input turns it into a string. So we've got to be careful with that as well. So what we need to do there is the opposite of what we did for the string, is go like this, int your age. And then I should be able to say print the age difference is plus str, because this is going to be a number, age diff. And you get used to thinking about these things when you do your work. But basically, we're going to press that there. What is your name? I'm going to change my name now. It's going to be Fred. Hello, Fred. What is your age? I'm going to need to be 8. The age difference is 2. Okay, so you can see there that we can take user input, we can print out things, we can add strings together and make a few useful little comical sort of input statements, but we can use this in more detail as we progress through the course.